All right, guys. Blow. We just watched that. Let me tell you the plot real quick. It's the story of how George Young, along with the Medellin cartel headed by Pablo Escobar, established the American cocaine market in the 1970s in the United States. Pretty interesting biopic if you're into that scene and what have you. If you're into the
If you're into that scene, the 70s coke scene.
It's more interesting.
We've all been there.
It's more interesting if you're into that whole scene. But anyway, you guys want to tell me your initial thoughts, reactions, what have you? Who wants to start? Anyone can start. You know.
I'll jump in here.
All right. Yeah.
No, I really was rooting for George, and I was really disappointed at every step. He just could not get a break.
Yeah.
What is it? Martha died.
Mm-hmm.
Lost her. Then he starts with this Mirtha. She's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And a cokehead.
Penelope's wild, yeah.
I mean, she was so gorgeous. And then the hair. I'm sorry. I'm focused on like the look of it all. The hair is so accurate and it's so bad.
His hair or her hair?
Both.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
all the hair.
Yeah.
all the hair for his friend to be the salon owner.
Pee Wee Herman.
Pee Wee Herman. He definitely should have hooked him up with something better than what was on his head. It distracted me
He
a
had
lot. from the
roadkill on his
video.
head.
It was terrible. It was terrible. But no, the movie really, I really was rooting for him every step of the way. I was really disappointed.
It's a tough fall, yeah.
It is. And I feel like he didn't do too much bad, you know. At least what they depicted was not terrible.
Yeah.
I would have been friends with him.
We'll get to that, but yeah,
I think.
like it's like kind of like a flex for the movie that they got you to root for him, even though he's a drug like lord.
He's not like a Scarface drug lord, though.
He's
he doesn't
not.
kill people.
Right, he's not over there slashing people up.
That is true.
He's
Yeah.
just
He's just
getting
trying to
them
make some
high.
money.
Yeah, and take care of his kid.
That's true. He does some of the things for the right reasons. Yes, he's got somewhat of a moral compass, as the
Yeah.
movie portrays. Yeah. But yeah, did you guys want to say your like initial thoughts, reactions?
Oh, sure. I have the random notes I took throughout. If you want, like as it happened. So how many times can they say I'm stoned and laugh?
Yeah,
Like when
they did.
their friend Dooley visits. It's like a whole couple minute long scene where it's just like I'm stoned.
That was the
I'm
purest
stoned. I'm stoned.
Yeah.
And I was
Yeah.
like, what has happened?
Maybe that's how it is
And
on
then-
coke. You don't know?
But they weren't on coke yet. That was just
Oh yeah,
weed.
that was the weed. That's right.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
right.
And then swimming with random kids at the beach and asking little girls where they can find marijuana. What is going on? Like they just went to Mexico and were like, let's swim with these little kids and ask them where to get weed.
It worked.
He did.
And then after that, Barbara is her name, right? Dies.
I think so.
After she dies, the movie's like completely different. Like it shifts into a different movie. His mom fucking sucks.
That's why I had that in my
Oh,
notes, yeah.
she was
She's
so
the worst.
annoying.
Awful.
Yeah.
Then
Awful.
Jaws quote for Ben. He said,
Yeah.
"We need a bigger
for all
boat."
the money, right?
I said they got to figure out a better way to stash cash. They're just stacking it floor to ceiling in that one house.
In boxes
In
and just
boxes.
loose
That was great,
too.
though.
Like that's a lot of money though.
And I said, never say things are perfect unless you're ready for them to crumble, because that's like he's like, oh, things are perfect, and then immediately it's just awful. And then he keeps it together pretty well for getting shot. Like he gets shot and it's just like, yeah,
He's cool about it.
he's just like, oh, you know.
he was just all
take care of
business,
it.
right?
It would be easier to quit, like doing drugs than selling drugs, in my opinion. But he could not quit doing his own drugs.
Yeah, I feel like it happens a lot.
Like I feel like that would be the easy part, but like giving up on the money and the power, that'd be harder for me than to
For
give up
sure.
the coke. And
Never
he
done coke,
could.
though.
True,
I mean, that might get you right away. Coke's pretty addictive from what I hear.
Yeah.
it is. He just throws the keys in that huge purse that's just all coke,
Yeah.
and then leaves. Like he throws his car keys.
He
over-
did the
and
coke
then-
off the key
and then just
he
threw it in
threw
there and
the.
go. Yeah,
And that's on the way to the birth of your child.
That is true.
gotta
Where he
have
like
energy for that.
OD'd or whatever.
Yeah.
It's never just a guy with a little problem. Like, they're never in a movie where it's like, oh, you know, he should probably lay off the coke at parties on weekends. Like he's straight up tweaking with like a cut up bloody face.
Yeah, the twitching in the emergency
And then
room,
he's
right?
overdosing, having a heart attack while his daughter's being
Yeah.
born. I definitely would not be able to handle that party animal wife.
Penelope?
Yeah.
I thought she was great in it. She was out of control.
Woof.
She was great, but
She's a great actress, but
yeah,
not
but
a
she
great
was.
wife.
yeah,
Yeah,
That's what I mean, yeah.
terrible.
she had a bowl of Coke like at that party. That
Party
was
time.
crazy.
And, then the bummer, that like son to father heartfelt speech. It's like a little bit cheesy, but and then the emotional reunion wasn't even real. Like you're like, oh, he gets to meet his daughter or see his daughter
Oh,
in
yeah,
prison,
it was
and then it
tough.
was just fake.
That was tough.
And then I said, looking rough. Like at the end, he just comes out and he's looking rough in the yard.
Yeah, it looked like he had a pillow in his shirt, and like
He did look like the real dude, though, if you look up pictures.
Oh, yeah.
he
The
did.
hair was
yeah,
pretty
I do
accurate.
like
the,
when
the
they do
hair.
Yeah.
Because
The hair.
sometimes
Yeah, the hair was key.
Sometimes they don't
was.
look anything like him.
Yeah, it looked like straw.
It was terrible.
Cece did the research. She actually told me when she came in. She's like, she said, yeah, the hair was awful. I looked up.
It looked
I looked
so
up the
bad.
characters, and it was pretty accurate.
It was spot on.
I have great soundtrack, because the soundtrack is great.
Oh, it was, yeah.
I wrote a quote from when Ray Liotta says, "When you're up, it's never as good as it seems. And when you're down, it never seems like you'll be up again." Like that sounds like a gambler mentality, so that's why I wrote it down.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, you and your brother are gamblers.
Out of control, yeah. Ethan Suplee kills it. He's looked like
That's I have
500 pounds.
my other
though.
notes.
Oh, yeah,
man.
tuna? Yeah.
Yeah, tuna. I don't know how
He's great, man.
those California chicks were into him when he's 500 pounds. He's a baller somehow. I like when he
Jacked
says, "What did I do? All I did was I crossed an imaginary line with a bunch of plants." That was like his crime. It's
Yeah.
just the cops.
Terrible defense.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It didn't work right.
He
yeah, I
thought
did
he was-
it, but
He thought he was He thought he was killing it as his own attorney.
And then
his attorney was sitting there.
And then he was quoting the Bob Dylan song the whole time. You know what I'm saying? That was a Bob Dylan
You never know, it
song.
might work.
Yeah.
His cellmate was Johnny Tapia from Bad Boys 2.
Yeah.
And that guy should be in more stuff.
That guy's great.
Diego.
Diego.
That's the one.
Hate Diego.
Diego's not a good guy.
No, he's terrible.
Everybody kind of backstabbed him, honestly.
That's what I was
Everybody.
thinking.
It's just the
All
moral of the story.
His closest
Every
friends and
turn.
family. Yeah.
But
For
he
sure.
Got out for a second, and then he hopped right back in. So.
And then his wife backstabbed him again by saying the drugs are in the vehicle when they got pulled over.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just like a drug movie, you can't make a happy ending. You just can't. Like the person
No,
always gets to the end.
It doesn't.
Unless you know of
the
one where
law.
there's
The law wins,
something good
or
happens.
justice
I can't tell
wins.
you.
Yeah. Every time. He says he has a little import-export business in Miami. That's what he tells his parents.
That was
Like, it's
funny,
just like
man.
tons of cocaine.
Yeah.
The delivery room twitching was great.
Yeah, that was
And
funny.
the gravy boat of cocaine cracked me up. And Penelope Cruz nailed it.
His hand was like this in the operating room, and then he
Twitching
just
like crazy.
passes out.
Everything came full circle to like where his dad was. Like he was broke, trying to
Yep.
fight for his wife was all ticked at him, yelling at him, saying we're broke, and just like his dad.
His dad was kind of like an entrepreneur, independent man, and then like he became that too. But also there was a fall from grace with him.
He just saw how his parents were broke all the time. He didn't want to be that, so
Right.
trying to make it better, and it backfired massively.
Mm-hmm.
And her saying, "I thought you couldn't live without your heart," is a good line. And the ending with the daughter, I thought was brutal.
It was, man. It was such a brutal reveal when like you realize that she's not there.
Right. Yeah, he's
It's
just she wouldn't
him,
come see him.
him alone, and he's kind of just like delusional.
Yeah.
You know, and man,
See
brutal
now.
reveal. I'm gonna be honest, I teared up a little bit.
I did too.
Yeah, it was
It's tough. Yeah, it's
I didn't
tough.
want to say.
they make you sympathize with this drug dealer, and it's like
Because he's not a
That's-
terrible dude.
He's
Throughout the whole movie, he
not.
didn't do anything terrible.
In the movie.
I was
he's
gonna
not.
get to that. I think it paints him in a really good
Positive light.
and I think they glossed over a lot of stuff, bad stuff that he might have done.
Did he kill
I'm
anybody?
sure.
I did some research. Apparently, he was the cause of a few murders. Not like actually doing them, or
Oh, yeah.
but he was behind. I think.
Oh, I'm sure. You have to be if you're successful in that world.
Yeah, so I think they glossed over all that bad stuff, and that's why they made you feel for him. You know what I mean?
Nah, I think he's a good dude.
He's a good dude.
Same.
But I'll tell you my initial thoughts or whatever, my review. Yeah, but it was pretty engaging. I was engaged throughout the whole movie. You know, it showed his rise to power and his influence, and also his downfall. It had some strong performances by Johnny Depp, Ray Liotta, Penelope Cruz, Paul Rubens, Rachel Griffiths, who played the mom, and then his name is Jordi Mola. I don't know if I'm saying his name right. The guy that played Diego. Yeah, he was great in it. I was entertained the whole way through, and emotional at times, like I said, which is unexpected when watching a movie of this nature. I
cocaine?
guess. Yeah, about blow.
Yeah.
You know. Two of the scenes in particular that like made me emotional were the scenes involving his daughter when she's in the prison talking to him, and then she moves and reveals the daughter behind him, and then behind her, and then you could just see his face. He was crushed. He was like, she's gonna see me in here, and she did that on purpose.
Yeah,
that was
she was
intentional.
vindictive.
That was an intentional move. And it was just wrong, But that was a tough one. And then also the scene we talked about earlier, where in the prison yard. But like I said, I think it painted him in a way better light than he actually was. And then, like I said, upon further research, he was. I learned that he was the cause of a few murders, and he negatively impacted many lives.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, obviously.
You know what I'm saying? And not to mention, he was way more. From what I've read,
I'm not gonna lie. This is surprising coming from Ben.
what do you mean?
Because usually Ben blows me away by liking
No pun
characters I don't
intended.
expect him to. And like in this, I wrote down I was like, this is gonna be another movie that I'm blown away that Ben likes the characters, but he's proved me wrong right now. He didn't
not.
he didn't like the guy.
Yeah. No, but from what I've read, he's more manipulative, conniving, and greedy than the movie implies.
Gotta be.
Yeah. They painted him in such a good
But maybe
light.
that's what they're.
So good.
Maybe that's what the movie was doing. Like,
That's what rubs me the wrong way. Is
well,
like,
I mean, like maybe that's why the movie was portrayed that way, because he was manipulating us to believe he was a good guy.
that's what I'm thinking. Is that it was told? I feel like I got
Like how he would tell it.
I feel like I got an account of George Young
Yeah,
from George
yeah.
Young himself. You know what I mean? That painted very well, and it's more clean and glamorous.
I mean, it's
than,
not hard to look well when you're being compared to Pablo Escobar.
That is true. Yeah. It was just more clean and glamorous and whatever than I think
Fun
it went.
and flirty.
Then it went down. I don't think it went down like that. And that's mostly all biopics. I'm just not big on biopics. Because they're so fictionalized.
It's like rose-colored glasses. You just
Yeah.
watching the person's life.
Yeah, it's just so like no way it went down that perfectly. There's just no way. It's blown out of proportion a lot. And then plus for biopics, you kind of know, unless you're familiar with the character, you know the story and you know the ending,
Right.
if you will. But I didn't know this story, so it was entertaining. It shows you that with a little effort and know-how, you can become a drug kingpin and be just have tons of money.
Now, was he a kingpin or was he just the connect?
He was just the middleman.
He was, but yet he was like super rich. So you
That's just because he was the first person to really
Yeah, that's
do
why.
it when it was blowing up.
yeah, they did have that statistic. They said 85% if you did cocaine in the 70s or 80s or
That
whatever.
is
Yeah, the
a
As soon
king-
as it blew up,
monopoly.
he was like, I gotta get out of this.
that's crazy,
Capitalized.
man.
And
You guys
he
want to
had-
get into that business?
No.
I mean, if it was a new drug, I definitely do. Let's be the first
No.
ones.
No. Hey, you sound like you might be on board. Come on.
Could I do it? Yes. Would I do it? No.
I mean, if you can get a house full of money,
Oh man.
Yeah,
a lot of Beyonce shows, you know?
Yeah, but then you end
So
up like
many.
them always.
that's fine.
You have to be smart enough to get
You have
out
money
when
for
it's
a
good,
while.
but you don't. Nobody does.
You gotta
No.
hit one good lick and
man.
invest.
Yeah.
Man, that was the thing. He was out, and then his wife wanted money, so he was desperate, and he did that one last job. And
Allegedly.
that's what got
But
him.
that's the spin. That's what I'm saying.
That's-
That's what you're complaining about is a spin. I don't think he was as out, or he would have been so quick to go back in.
But I know from what they portray,
Yeah.
he was out.
Yeah.
He was out of the game, but he was broke. I mean, he wanted that money, and he got set up.
That's the money.
Get that money.
But like you guys said, it shows that the ones that you trust the most can stab you in the back and hurt you the most.
I mean, yeah. It's,
I mean, if they're gonna go down,
what's the name of the game if you're a criminal?
His mom called the police. His friends Dooley and
His mom sucks.
Yo, if my mom calls the police on me,
But he was a fugitive at the time.
Who? Ben, your mom called the police on you?
No, hell no.
exactly.
I could murder 20 people and she wouldn't go.
that's debatable.
Like that's murder.
Right. No, his friends Derek and Dooley, they set him up in the DEA
that was one of
FBI
the-
bust.
That was the funny. I mean, it was a serious scene, but it was so funny to me that those guys felt so bad. They're like, I kind of like him.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, yeah, me too, but and then they come in with guns drawn and arrest him.
Yes, yes. That was a cool scene though, right? How it was like shot and how like it was almost like a stage play, like
Yeah.
theater, like the light went on him, everyone just dispersed. The spotlight's on him. That was very cool, very well shot. But Diego, like you said, stabbed him in the back, took all his business.
That was funny too because he's like confronts him and he's like, okay, I did, I stole it. It's
All it took was the name of his connection. That was it. And then,
But he gave him the name after he got shot.
right.
After I got
right.
shot, I'm not telling you anything.
Exactly.
I got shot for you, dude.
Yeah.
If you can't trust me after that, then
Exactly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I already got
Yes.
the worst of it.
Yeah.
I'm giving you the name now.
That was a very good line when he said, "I don't care if you're selling to your relatives." You know, what did he say? Like ounces to your relatives, you know? And then he just pointed that gun at him. He snapped, you know. That was cool. Oh, I got a couple questions. Why did his wife turn on him so like hard? Was it because of the money and that she was a
She's an
druggie?
addict. Yeah.
She's an addict, and
Okay,
money,
it just
and
seems so quick.
Penelope
Well,
Cruz?
Yeah.
when they
Cokehead.
met, they were already in the like they were both already into coke. Like
Yeah.
it wasn't. So they never really had the solid foundation of like, oh, we're in love, so we won't turn on each other. It was like, hey, you're hot, I'm hot, we're on coke, let's do this.
That is true. Yeah.
Tagline for the movie.
And one thing I couldn't buy though is that he's just this kid from Boston, and then all of a sudden he's like a drug kingpin who just makes tons of money. Oh, what seemed like overnight. It seems super quick. He just has this know-how. He's just savvy in that world.
I don't think it was much know-how. I think it was just demand, supply, demand.
And just being
They
where
were the
you're
first
supposed to be.
ones.
Yeah.
He
Like,
was just an opportunist. Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
They capitalized on like Californian weed and they're like, oh, there's no coke going around. Let's go get coke. And they were the first ones to do it in the 70s. So
And that chance encounter in the prison with Diego. He's like, yeah. What about
it
cocaine?
did blow up. It did go quick. But
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Also, I got a question. Who is the antagonist in your guys' eyes?
The
Because-
federal government always.
Yeah, the law. The law or himself.
Fuck 12, man.
You know. What do you guys think? Because, like, in screenwriting, like I have like I took that in school or whatever, and I have some knowledge in screenwriting. Like the antagonist is supposed to be super strong, and like there's supposed to be like forces of antagonism throughout.
His mom.
Or whatever. Who do you guys think is the main antagonist? Would it just be the law?
Yeah, the federales.
money.
Money? That's a good one.
depends on
Power.
how you look at it, I guess.
Himself.
You could feel bad for him and he could still be a bad dude. I mean,
Yeah. Great casting. But also that made me think like it's only as good as it is because of that cast. But also like without those names, would the bar have been set lower so you would have like not expected it to be as good?
That's a good
So
question.
like
yeah. True.
maybe without that cast I would like it more because I wouldn't have expected a better performance.
That is true. That is a good point.
yeah,
And
Johnny
Johnny
Depp
Depp is great in it.
Penelope Cruz, Paul Rubens, Ray Liotta, and Ethan Suplee, of course. Legend. He's jacked. Awesome.
Legend, yeah.
Good use of montages. A lot of big time jumps,
There are.
especially for how long it is. Like a lot of just big gaps.
That's what I wanted more of was like his teenage years. How did he get to be wanting?
From like 8 to like 30.
Oh, seriously, he was like,
Whoa.
He was like 8 to like, and then it jumped to like maybe like 21 or something. Or
Yeah.
man, I just wanted a little more there.
It skirts the line like between a serious movie and a spoof movie to me almost. Like it's between Goodfellas and like Corky Romano almost because like how cheesy some of it is to me.
Yeah. there's
Like
parts.
which scenes in particular? You think some
I
of
was
them
like-
are cheesy?
Well, I was like, it's like an animated Goodfellas turned back into a live action. Like it was like
I can
almost
see that.
cartoony. But I was like, also, I guess if everybody's insanely coked up, that's how they're gonna act.
Very true.
But I feel like the narration and dialogue, some of it was very cheesy to me. Like the Danbury wasn't a prison; it was a crime school.
Yeah.
And when I went in a bachelor's in marijuana, I came out with a doctorate in cocaine. Like
You think that's
that's
cheesy?
not how he fucking talked. There's no way.
Like,
know what I
it
mean?
is a movie though.
Yeah,
It-
but you know
yeah.
what I mean.
Right.
Like they're not using a line like that in Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
They weren't on
Scorsese.
coke.
That's
Well,
high,
yeah,
that's a
but
high
I mean,
bar.
what I mean, like that's what they wanted this to be. Obviously, like it was set up the same. And then, but the official toxicity limit for humans, like that whole speech, like what? Just say I did a lot of coke and my heart gave out. Like nobody wants to know that you did
Statistics.
10 grams in 10 minutes and we're fine. And then, but yeah, so then Ben proved me wrong. He didn't like the character out because if Ben liked the character, I was gonna be like, this just doesn't make sense. But then I said the mom is kind of like Ben a little bit. Picks and chooses when the immorality bothers her. Because like when her son was rich, she turned a blind eye. She was like, "This is sick," and the dad's like, "He's not importing, exporting. The mom's like, shut your mouth.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he's poor again, she's called the cops on him. And then she's like, because she was impressed. She's like, oh, you have a beautiful wife, and like you have all this cool stuff, and she's like, fine with it. And then when he comes home poor, she's like, get out of my house, you fucking joke.
Super rich drug dealer, great. Poor drug dealer, loser.
Yeah. Immediately calls the cops.
How are you a drug dealer and poor?
Arrested.
Right.
They love doing that in movies, like having moms or kids like suck, because it's a character that you're supposed to inherently like you're supposed to like and side with a mom, and you're supposed to like and side with the child.
Yeah.
And they do it so often in movies where like the mom is just horrendous or the kid is so obnoxious.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's get to ratings. Cece, would you like to start?
Out of what?
So it's out of 10. You can give 0.5s too. So let's say like a 4.5, or
Whoa.
no, I'm not saying that low. I'm not saying
so low.
No, I'm not saying that. But
Leading the witness.
I can start if you want to think about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I gave it a 6.5. I thought it was good.
How do you feel about that, Joe?
That's fine.
I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great. I thought the acting was very strong, but like I said, it just too fictionalized for me, and just some stuff
If it wasn't like a biopic, you think
I
you'd
feel
like
like
it
he
more?
would like it more. I feel like he would.
I might
Kind
like
of
it more.
Goodfellas. Like, I mean, it wasn't as good as Goodfellas.
Yeah,
obviously,
I think
but
I might.
yeah.
If it wasn't a biopic, honestly, a 7 or 7.5.
Make it more
I
fictional.
think Goodfellas is trash. No.
No, right. But what do you think?
I'd 7.
Yeah, I gave it a solid 7.
I'll sit
also-
with a 7.
Seven?
The wigs were really, really bad.
The wigs are gonna knock it down.
Like, I was gonna say 6.5 specifically because of the wigs.
Don't watch it because the wigs.
No, the wigs did.
They're
It's
trash.
terrible.
Yeah,
I mean-
Roadkill.
Distracting.
Remember the review with the frills?
Yeah.
Me and Cece are on the same wavelength.
You did say something about the frills. What was the
Wardrobes
Conjuring
and
movie?
wigs.
Yeah, one of the Conjuring movies, I was just like, her outfits were impeccable.
The
all
frills.
all
he was
frills,
talking
no
about.
frills.
Frills in on her dresses. I don't know.
Vera Farmiga.
Yeah. She's great.
I just watched a movie you like, Running Scared, with her in it.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, great movie.
Looking good.
That movie is great.
But anyway, let's get to. So we do a little thing. We would like recommend it. Like watch it ASAP, watch it whenever, or skip it. So what would you guys say? Watch it ASAP, watch it whenever, or skip
Whenever.
Yeah, watch it whenever.
I would agree with that. Whenever.
If you get asked to be on a podcast, you should watch it.
That's a good answer. That's a great answer.
Yeah,
And only then.
Everything Ben tells me to watch, I have to watch it.
Yeah.
Next movie review is 50 Shades.
Oh, whoa. That's not happening.
I'm kidding. All right.
Ben's getting kinky.
I'm getting kinky. He said. All right. Thank you, Cece, for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
That is Blow. And yeah, it was a fun time, and we'll see you on the next one. Later.